Hi everybody, and welcome to the second installment of the Philadelphia Rebels Coaches Show. My name is Tom Williams, and to my left we have assistant coach Tom Peffall, and to my right we have trainer Sal Capone. We'll get to Sal in just a couple of minutes, but first we want to talk about last weekend. Although, Tom, you couldn't make it because you're doing some scouting, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. You certainly know the results and how things have gone. First game, a 3-2 loss to Johnstown, where you outshoot them by 39-21. But go for 6 in the power play. Now, we talked last week about the pride of the power play and the penalty kill. That's something I'm sure that's a focus this week going into the new week.
Yeah, you know, our power play's been really good all year. Top of the league. We work on it a lot, and guys are dedicated. This weekend, things didn't go our way, and that's something that we have to fix. So we took a good look this week, and we're going to make sure that we really hit home some points, that emphasis that we can fix. Because we got to get back on track with that, because coming down the stretch here, that's going to be an important part of our game, and if we're not scoring power play goals, that's not going to be good. So we need to fix that.
Another part of concern for that game is going into the third period with a lead. Usually with the Rebels, going to the third period with a lead, it's a lock. But you're up 2-1, but Johnstown comes back, much to their credit, of course. But that's something that the Rebels normally don't do. It's usually when you're up by any amount after 2 periods, usually lock it down.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend for us in that aspect. Consistency. We got out of there with a split. The second day was a little bit better for us, but going down the stretch, we can't have that. Turnovers are what cost us the game, and when you're getting goals and our team's scoring points off turnovers, that's not gonna work for us. So a little bit more consistency, a little more dedication in our own zone, especially, but something that we're going to figure out, and we're going to go from there. But definitely a lesson that we can learn from that split of, all right, we're into February now. The consistency's got to get better.
Well, speaking of the second half of that doubleheader, well, you get going with a victory 4-1 on the Saturday night game. And one guy I want to talk about is Aaron McGoo. He picked up a goal in each game, and he's been not exactly on the scoreboard every single game, but very consistent in his style of play and his effort every single weekend. So it's all good to see him get rewarded with a couple of points.
Mags is one of those guys that brings it every day. Practice, games, video he's watching intently. He brings it every day, and if you could have 1,000 Mags, that's what you would want. He does his job. He comes to the ring prepared. He's always here early, but he does those little details that make him the player he is. Like to see him shoot the puck a little bit more. I think he has a lot of opportunities where he could score some more goals, but it just speaks to the player that he is, of not being selfish and trying to get everybody going. And when Mags is going, certainly the whole team starts going. So
now we talked about game 1, the power play not working out so well, but in game number 2, you guys went 2 for 7 on the power play. Certainly an improvement, I'm sure. Even though you can't get a practice in between those 2 games, I'm sure in the morning meeting that was a point of emphasis.
Yeah, we do a lot of video here with our program and our organization. We really like to use that as a teaching point, and it's easy for us to break it down and guys to see. It's hard to say you didn't do something or you did do something when you're watching the film. So it's hard to hide. Whether it's a mistake of turning the puck over or forcing something, it's hard to hide when everybody's in the room and you're doing video. So you use that, especially on the road in between games when you don't have a chance to get on the ice, and you got to learn. You got to be ready to go and put your best foot forward the next day, and that's what the boys did.
Now, again, we mentioned at the top of the program that you were unable to make it because you were doing some scouting. You were in basically the same place over in Westchester doing, I was broadcasting, but you were scouting the Tier 1 EHL showcase over there. When you go to a showcase like that, do you have an idea of who you're looking at, or you're just there, okay, or it depends on what part of the season you're in?
There's a little bit of both that goes involved. So we have our director of scouting, Billy Puglisi, and Billy does a great job for us. So he takes our staff and kind of points us in the right direction of what we might be looking for, what he's in need of. So with that being said, you take a look at our guys this year and big pieces that we're going to have to replace next year. Jensen Zervin, Brandon Stanley, guys of that caliber play. We have to find the right pieces of the puzzle that can fit, and it's not always the skill guys, it's character guys, and can they come in here and produce right away. So there's a lot of different things that we're looking at when we go to them, but it was a good weekend, some good hockey, and I expect to see some of those guys at our camp here in the summer.
Again, a lot of fun for me to broadcast that as well. So you get some great hockey, whether it be the T1 EHL, even the Eastern Hockey League at the Tier 3 level. Just seeing some some guys who are hungry. You know, they see the logo on on their shirt. They know that scouts are there. So it must be interesting to see them step up in a whole new level.
Absolutely. You can almost see the look on their face when they're in warm-up and they skate by and they see the jacket and the logo, whether it's a Division I school or a North American League team like us. But they're all aspiring to play in this league or a little bit higher. So it's nice to see them compete. Sometimes maybe you try and do a little bit too much, but we take that into consideration, and hopefully we can pick some guys that will help us continue the winning tradition that we have here.
All right, moving on to this coming weekend, 2 game set at New Jersey, and New Jersey traditionally, since they moved over from Michigan and you guys moved to the Delaware Valley in Texas, it's been a very even matchup. In spite of the Rebels winning the last 2 division championships and being on top right now, the Titans have been the one team that have really been the one that's at your side. It's been a very fun show, fun series of games between you guys.
It's always competitive, and that makes for good hockey. It makes it fun for the fans, whether it's here or in their building. Makes it fun for the coaching staffs to prepare and really be ready for what you're up against. And most importantly, it makes it fun for the guys. They know that you're going to have to compete. When you're strapping on those skates, and it's go time. So they've given us a little bit of a hard time this year. I don't expect anything less. They're a hard team to play against. They have good coaching, and they got a lot of skill over there. So this weekend I expect nothing but the normal competitive physical game against the Rebels and Titans, and hopefully we can come out on top.
Well, make sure your fans check that out this weekend on Hockey TV. Anthony DePaula will have the call for those 2 games up in Middletown. And one last thing, here at Class of 23, as we're recording this, the Tampa Bay Lightning are about to have a practice. Do you, as a coach, tend to watch their practice, kind of pick up some new things? And also, do you have the players trying to stick around and watch how those guys practice at the highest level there is?
We do a little bit of both. So it's a good rink for the NHL teams coming in with the Wells Fargo Center just being a couple miles away. I think this year we've seen Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and now Tampa Bay. So as a coach, absolutely. I love watching what they do. I love watching different drills and learning myself. When you watch it, it's kind of funny that they're doing the same stuff that we do every day. It might be a little bit faster, moving the puck faster, the way they skate, bigger bodies, but there's nothing that they do that we don't do. So watching them is always a good time. And for the players, it's nice to see the dedication that these guys come to the rink with. And obviously they're making millions of dollars, but the details that they bring to the ice, whether it's a 20-minute pregame skate or it's a full hour and 20-minute practice, the details they do, their attention span. So I think it's great for our program to be able to watch these guys skate every once in a while.
Yeah, so certainly keep an eye on the Penn Ice Rink Facebook page if you can find that. They always post when these practices are coming, so most of them are open to the public, so make sure you come on out and get a chance to learn yourself. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Lightning head out of the ice just a few minutes. We're going to move on right now to our trainer. This is the guy you normally only see when somebody gets hurt, but it's certainly more than that. And Sal Capone, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Tom.
Now again, we just talked about, okay, the only time we see you is somebody on the ice is hurt. That's not always the best of situations, but your job is certainly much more than that, and it starts way before the game, getting all these guys prepared in many ways. Give me an idea of what you have to do pregame with some of these players.
Most of our pregame happens throughout the week. Our preparation of practice throughout with our daily activities, whether it's lifting, stretching, cardio, sprint work, pretty much gets these guys ready for Friday night. On pregame, the players have their own routine, so I kind of stay out of the way actually. If a player wants, either some form of modality, ultrasound, stim, heat, we work on those, help guide them through their dynamic. A lot of them have their own routines. I stay out of the way. So usually actually on pregame,
They tend to come to you.
They come to me and I kind of let them do their thing. It's mostly the preparation from Monday through Thursday for a Friday game where I'm in their ear a lot.
Now, during a game, if somebody gets hurt, you're called out there, and you race out there with hopefully with help from players because of the ice, of course. But it has to be quick, and you have to ask the right questions. I'm always interested. Do you have an idea of what happened? Because you're obviously watching the play.
Well, yeah.
And how you're going to approach the situation.
So we try and the athletic trainers on the team always try and watch the play so you can at least see with your eyes what happened. So then that's your first idea what happened. Whether it's a head shot, knee shot, you kind of know, okay, it looks like this coming out. As you go on the ice, first thing you're looking is for critical care first, severity, injury, Is it so severe he doesn't have to be moved? Do the EMTs need to be involved? From there, if he's conscious, knows what's going on, then it's determination, can he get off on his own? Most situations, these players are able to get off on their own. I try and avoid going out on the ice as much as possible. So if they don't need me to go out, they should be tough enough to get off the ice. If their leg's not broken, they should be able to get off. And that's the mentality that Tom and coach and I put in these players from 15 years of experience. You can't have the trainer going out on every shift. Now, of course, there's times where you have to go out. But if it's just a block shot, you should be able to make it to the bench.
It's always very interesting. You have those players who are down and they can't get up, and you're basically face to face, even closer to me than you are right now, just trying to. What is the conversation like? It's reassurance.
Usually, if they're emotional, you're trying to calm down, get as much information as quick as possible. So whether it's a leg injury, trying to determine where it is, what part of the body, what's he feeling, whether it's numb, pain, shooting, do a quick assessment on the deformity. If you don't feel any deformity, you do a quick emotion sense, then you can make a determination whether you can move the athlete. Most times in hockey, the players always moved off to the ice. Football, other sports, a lot of times you have a longer clock to do your evaluation. Not that hockey doesn't have a clock, but you kind of make a determination quicker just because of the surface, trying to get the player off the ice. It's harder to get the EMS onto the ice than it is in a football field. So if the joint is stable and the player can get under his own power with the help of his teammates, we'll take him off the ice. There have been situations where obviously you don't move him, and a head or neck injury really required really good thorough investigation. If there's any sign of neck trauma or unconsciousness, then you're supposed to stabilize EMS or off the ice.
Well, again, thanks so much for the insight. Again, most of the fans just see you head on the ice and then he gets off, and the player was 99% of the time okay. But it certainly does take a lot as far as being an athletic trainer for a professional organization. So appreciate what you do, and the fans out there, next time you see Sal out there, give him a high five and say hello to him, and I really appreciate what he does for these kids out there. One last thing, in 2 weeks, the Rebels are playing a 3-game series up in Boston. We wanted to touch on this real quick. It was going to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but now it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So make sure you head to the NAHL website and PhiladelphiaRebels.net to get the exact information about when all the games will be, as we're right now in the middle of a big road trip, 9-game road trip. This weekend will be game 3 and 4 against the New Jersey Titans. Again, all games on Hockey TV. Now keep in mind, our next home game, I got to look this up because it's a while from now, it's February 16th against the New England the New England Generals. So looking forward to seeing them in about 3-4 weeks time. But make sure you keep up with the team at PhiladelphiaRebels.net. Get your tickets and get all the information you need. Go to Hockey TV and watch the team as they are on the road, and you can also follow along at NAHL.com. Also, one quick thing, certainly want to make time to thank our sponsors for this coaches show. Head out, take a look at Cafe Ida, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. They're at 1732 West Passyunk Avenue, so call 215-218-0100. Meals are made to order and party trails are available. Also want to thank Sierra Construction. If you can dream it, they can build it. Call 267-718-1604 for a free estimate. And finally, if you're taking a trip, why not Greyhound? Leave the driving to them. Visit Greyhound.com for more information. Tom, Sal, thanks so much for joining us. And my name is Tom Wilms, and we'll see you real soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.